And this creature just like hovered over me and then just crushed my heart and just picked me up face to face and then just squeezed my heart. And I just woke up in cold sweat at 4 a.m. like,
It's Friday night.
So I think you want to do another take?
yeah. Welcome to Games of Amore, where we explore romantic stories and the games we all play and love. I'm your guest for the day, Cesar, joined today by our lovely two hosts, Lola and Diana.
Hey, everybody. We are back in the building.
Welcome to the Love Boat.
Yes, and this is a very special moment because we get to actually ask questions to the man who created the concept of the podcast.
The man of the hour.
Episode 10 is like perfect.
Yeah, I
So
know.
10, yeah.
Yeah.
Inaugural.
10 in.
10 in.
All right, so before we even get to know you, let's get to know what you think so far of your baby, which is your podcast.
It's definitely been interesting. The whole experience, being consistent, talking to many different people. And it's definitely alleviated a few preconceived notions I had. And I'm excited to do more and interview very different types of people. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
Different types of people. I like that type of categorization because that means that the person might be interesting or versatile or whatnot. And I think so far you've done a pretty good job at getting a variety of people. So it's only right that a person like yourself must be the most interesting one of them all.
I don't know about that, but
Why not?
we all have stories to tell.
What
Okay.
are yours? I feel like you've had so many lifetimes that we've recently unearthed.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
I'm as open as to the level of.
Well, that was a question. So tell us about your favorite lifetime that you've lived. You've been
My favorite
dance
lifetime.
fighter. He's been an actor, a teacher, a man of the arts, and now an entrepreneur. So do tell. What's your favorite?
You know what? They've all been completely different and unique in their own way, like totally different characters, so to speak. I can't really say a favorite. Like there was pre-Brazil saga, there was post-Brazil saga.
These people do not know. You're
yeah, I
like,
know.
they knew I casually lived in
So
Brazil.
did you live in Brazil? Is that what
Yeah, I
part of
lived
it?
in Brazil. I lived in Brazil.
How long did you live there?
8 months
8 months. Okay. What part?
in Rio.
Rio. Okay. As beautiful as people think it would be, or?
Well, I lived in Rio in 2007, 2008. Rio de Janeiro is very beautiful. When I first moved there, I roomed with an old lady who was renting out the room.
Okay.
3 months in, she tried to basically run me for my rent money.
What do you mean?
Because
How?
I paid in advance, and then she said, "Oh, you know what? You need to leave because I have family coming in. 2 months in, actually. You need to leave because I have somebody coming in." And then I'm like, "Okay, cool. Just give me the rest of the money."
Run that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, Mark.
And she's like, "Oh, I already used it, so I need some time." I'm like,
Girl,
"What?"
wrap it on up.
Like I was about to go hood on.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But do you think that's affected like that experience since you were, that was quite a while ago at this point, so you're a little bit younger. Do you think that affected your outlook on dynamics with women a bit?
Well, that was nothing. I mean,
but in contrast to all
I
the
mean,
things.
the Brazil saga in general was definitely one of the, if not the darkest chapter of my life.
Darkest.
Definitely.
Was it because it kept on being negative experiences like that?
Yes, but also because I was in a place where I was kind of asking for negative experience.
Elaborate.
When I went to Brazil, I went to trained capoeira. It's a Brazilian martial art.
Dance fighting for
Dance
those
fighting,
Americans.
as type in Eddie Gordo, whatever.
Yeah.
Aggressive dance fighting.
Yes, but
A lot of legs.
Yeah.
yes. So when I went to Brazil, the reason I went was because I wanted to find myself. I didn't like who I was. As a
How old
person.
were you at that time?
I was 21.
21, and you wanted to find yourself?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big ask at 21. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we all wanted you in youth, right? Who
I
am
mean,
I?
but I hear you, but 21 is like young as hell. But go ahead.
Well, by that time, I was like, when I was 21, I was in Queens College at the time. I was a physics major. I was tutoring. I was training, and I was also living like a hoodlum double life, breaking into buildings in the nighttime, breaking property and causing all kinds of ruckus in Jackson Heights.
The
So
time
you were
has
just,
passed.
were you doing
that he can be
B&Es and like
arrested for
robbing
these
people,
crimes.
or
No, I wasn't robbing people.
you were just destructive? Oh, that's a whole nother conversation. We ain't gonna get into that.
A little something. I mean,
That's
hold on now.
that's
Where
a
was the
psychology.
destruction
We
coming
need a
from,
therapist
honey?
at the
Like,
table
what
type
is,
of vibe.
you know, for what we know of Cesar, honey, he's a goody goody.
Yeah, but destructive behavior comes from something very different. So it's like that's a whole nother subject. But you went to Brazil.
But that's a big reason.
Yeah.
Why I went to Brazil, because I was like doing way too much, and I just like decided
That you wanted to change your life?
Yeah, no, I was just like decided I'm not happy. That was my demon phase around the time. So I was like, I'm not happy with who I am as a person. So I just, I'm very spontaneous. I dropped out of college and I had money saved and I said, fuck it, I'm buying the ticket. I'm out.
How does a physics major commit crimes? This is like a very diverse sort of experience within yourself. So can you explain?
I liked the technicalities of physics. I like the math, the logic, the problem solving. That fulfilled one side of me. And then, being a hoodlum, I was just being a hoodlum. I was young, dumb, 21-year-old.
A hoodlum who loves martinis, by the way, in a martini glass.
What martini?
It was a martini glass. I remember Okay, so there you go. There's two sides of you at this point in your life, right? So with women, how are you treating them at this stage? Because clearly you have two extremes within one.
That was the time I was kicking women out the windows.
Why were you kicking? Okay, please do tell.
Well,
He's semi-reformed, just so everyone knows.
Jesus.
Semi-reformed.
I mean, he lives a little high up nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitch might die.
Girl, I'll figure it out. The steps.
Yeah, around that time, I treated women because I hated women. And it just came from a deep hatred of childhood abuse, how I was raised, and the things I endured.
So were you having hate sex?
No. No. It was more like once I obtain what I want, you're no longer meaningful to me.
And what you wanted was the pussy?
In different ways. In some other ways, I was a bit more insidious.
This makes me sad.
Yeah.
Why do men do that? The hate, the intentional pain
It's
you cause
easy.
women. But why is it desired?
Because there's a quote I like from my favorite story. It says, hatred is a place where one goes that can't stand sadness.
I love melancholy sadness. I don't understand,
Well,
but I
that's
hear the
you.
quote.
Yeah, it's easy to have a layer of hatred. It's empowering. It's powerful.
Does that still linger inside of you
No.
at all?
No.
Do you ever feel a tinge of hate? That little glimmer in the back of your mind when something reminds you of the past of who you were?
I've had experiences that try to bring me back, but to that. But I'm so centered in me now. That's just no. I would never go back to that. For me.
How'd you find the center within yourself?
Well, that took a lot. That took a lot of shit.
I mean, if we're going chronologically, right? And you said at 21 you went to Brazil for 8 months. You probably left when you were at tops 22. Did you find yourself?
Yeah, I definitely did find myself. Definitely. I in Brazil, that was my first significant relationship. The girl where I call her the cop, right? Girl I met in Hunter College, and
So she came out there?
no, we were long distance at the time because before I was leaving to Brazil, we met up, we dated and stuff, and it just kind of happened together. We kind of like fell for each other, and we agreed to like, oh, let's break up, you know. But then like me, while I'm out there, I kind of like I needed her.
Okay.
In hindsight, I needed her to be my emotional support during that time because during that time, you gotta understand, I was fucked up in the head. I was like suicidal. I was the kind of person during that time where I used to seek out life or death experiences and to purposely survive them because that's what gave my life meaning.
Right.
Like I felt like I had no intrinsic purpose, but if I can survive, then I belong here. So in Brazil, I would kind of repeat these kind of things where I would be engulfed in these kind of life or death scenarios. And having her there as an emotional support from long distance was, I mean,
Life saving.
yeah, life saving. Like I can definitely say I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't because of Perks being there for me.
So it was all meant to be in some way.
Yes.
Okay. So after that trip, not so positive experience, right? And now you come back to the States, right? And when you're now this new version of yourself and you're experiencing an old love that was your support system and she became something that helped give you life, did that now put you in a position that you were like, oh, I'm ready to now stop throwing bitches out the window. I want to like really be with someone now. Like I went through all of this, or is it like now I'm really just gonna like go nuts because I'm like 25?
No. That story didn't have a happy ending. I ended up cheating on her, and she cheated on me to like,
Retaliate?
War.
yeah, retaliate, so to speak.
Cheating wars.
And what that meant? The world was over when she cheated.
Yeah.
Right.
The,
That,
the way
that killed you inside?
the way I handled it, right? Because you use the words meant to be. I absolutely believe there was two relationships in my life I felt like were meant to be. Her, absolutely. I say that was meant to be because at that time, she was the only woman, the first woman ever in my life to show me compassion.
Okay.
And when she did show me compassion, like true, just I'm going to listen to you. During my moment of confession, when I told her I cheated on her, because she never would have found out. It was me telling her.
Why did you want to tell her? Was that like sort of like I want to inflict pain on her?
No. It wasn't. It just kind of came
Because it's
out.
usually very hard for a man to admit,
It's
even
hard for
if you're
anybody to admit
literally.
that. It's hard for anybody to. That's
I
not
can
gender
tell you.
specific.
You know.
So it was less the cheating that hurt her. It was more the reason why I did it.
Why did you do it?
I told her the real reason why I did it.
This really would hurt if you looked at me and told me that way.
Oh yeah, and this
This
was me
relationship.
and her. I was talking to her video chatting as I'm telling her this. I told her the real reason was because I'm about to come back to these states and I hadn't done anything with anybody.
Oh.
I actually had been faithful, and it was like 2 months left in the trip. And I told her the real reason I did it was because I didn't want my friends to say, Cesar, you were there all this time and you didn't fuck nobody. I wanted the approval of my friends.
Validation seeking. I mean, I get it. I mean, honestly, now reflecting in the past at this current stage of life, it's like, yeah, I expect you. You're in Brazil, the beautiful women to do
mean,
it, but the relay of it,
You
I
were
don't know.
21 years old, bro.
Yeah. Did you have to tell her? Like some things you just gotta
Right.
No, no.
say,
Take it
I'm
to the
21
grave.
and just
Yeah.
take it to the grave.
Yeah.
No, I'm absolutely glad I told her. Absolutely.
Sometimes it hurts more.
Yes.
Unnecessarily, it ruins.
I wholeheartedly agree.
But did you have like a relationship with this girl, or you like was just smashing some woman in Brazil and like it was like a
it
one
was
time?
it was a carnival thing.
Come on.
Come on. You're telling her like this is. I mean, look, these are two women telling you.
That's
come
what I'm
on.
saying.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, no.
We could have done without it, honestly.
Yes, but you know the choices you make in life have domino effects,
Of course.
right?
Yeah, where's our point? No shade.
That relationship, you know, and definitely in hindsight, like I needed to purge that out of my system.
Okay.
I need.
It was self-sabotaging when you did that?
Yeah, self-sabotage, but like, I don't think that was a kind of relationship that was ever meant to go the distance.
Right.
It was more like we had some weird like karma between us. And
So is that why you think these relationships are significant? Because there's some sort of karmic experience attached to the two that you know, denote as very
probably
important?
yes.
You learned real lessons, that's why.
Yeah, no, I mean that you see, you gotta understand that day, that video chat session with her, when she actually just having a woman, you gotta understand, like I had a deep hatred for women. I grew up abused by women constantly. Physically, emotionally, like just during that time when I was 5. And having a woman show me something else, true compassion, true, I'm going to listen to you without judgment. That to me changed me.
Right.
It changed me on such a visceral level. Like, even when I was training capoeira, the next day, the main instructor, he pointed me out. He called me out like in front of everybody, and he was like, "Oh wow, look how that guy is expressing himself now. So different. Like his swagger, he's like so different. And before, when I used to, if you know anything about capoeira, it's like very tribal. It's very,
Yeah.
You know,
The whole time.
whole circle.
It's
It
cool.
can be extremely intimidating, actually.
It's cool.
And
Yeah, I've seen that. Used to do.
You don't know if like people are like praising something or
I
fighting.
know, like
right?
what
It's
is happening?
yeah, but
Yeah.
all right, but there's the capoeira you see here, and then there's like Rio de Janeiro hood capoeira. You gotta understand, capoeira.
I can only imagine.
Capoeira is a martial arts based on.
Oh, he loves martial arts, y'all. He's very masked.
Yes. It's a martial arts based on deception. It's like what I would say
Oh.
Western ninjutsu. So the idea of it is like you're dancing with your partner, and then you kick him,
Oh.
knock him out.
Do you think that's why do you think you were drawn to that? The deception and attack? That kind of seems like to be an interesting tie. You're like, oh, I'm deceiving you with this romantic dance, and then I want to shank you in the neck later. Like, and that kind of is the same timeline where you say, oh, I hated women, I want to inflict pain.
Well, yeah,
so that's
actually-
very interesting. It's
So with her, with that girl, the cop, my initial intentions in dating her, the reason I say they were insidious is because I wanted to leave her remembering as sort of like this one person you can't have. I wanted to be remembered in this way.
do you focus on legacy when you date women?
No, this is 20,
It kind of no,
this
but
is
it
21-year-old Cesar.
But
This
other
is-
things. I'm just saying, you want to get away. You want to be, oh, don't forget me. I am
No.
immortalized in her mind for various reasons that evolve over time. Do you feel like that's a theme?
Not anymore.
Okay.
No shade.
So this experience happened. Now you're a little older. You got a little more seasoning. When was the next time you fell in love?
Fell in love. It's more like I fell in love with images. Or I didn't come to know what love was until way much later.
Okay.
I loved, so to speak, other women I got into relationships with, but all those women, I would purposely. So okay, after I got back from Brazil, that ended horribly, and all the progress I made kind of like regressed, and then all the hatred I felt for women, I projected specifically into this one girl. Because like I said, I cheated on her. She cheated on me, and then I didn't show her the same compassion she showed me because I was very young and dumb and immature.
This still happens when y'all are 50. Don't worry.
It's not an easy thing.
Do you think it's harder for men to get cheated on than it is for women?
Yeah. It depends. It's cheating for women is more emotional. For her, it was a very complicated scenario, and I totally understand her perspective. But that's not the point. The point is, after I returned to the U.S., I had basically abandoned her. I cut her off for like 2 weeks, and then when I returned, we got together. We saw each other, and obviously, so much between us, right? But the damage was done. It was too much. It was way too much. And so she chose not to get back with me, and she chose to continue a relationship with the guy she cheated on, right? Right? And I hated her for that. I hate it because, like, first off, I knew that was a lie. Oh, this isn't gonna work out. But I hated her because in my very immature mentality at that time, when I left her, when I abandoned her, the day that she told me, she confessed to me, right? I left her. I stopped talking to her, and in my mind, I was like, this is a subconscious test, so to speak, because if when I return, you are not with that guy, and you choose to at the very least be by yourself, then you're like official wife material. You're a woman that doesn't need somebody else to like fill a gap in her emotions or whatever. Then, like wow, I would fucking marry you.
Do you think you're putting women through like aggressive tests though, just to like be the prize?
It was stupid and silly, and she didn't deserve that. Like I definitely caused real damage to her. We ended up reconnecting like a year and a half later or something. But it wasn't the same because I had changed, right? But like, yeah, I felt extreme. All the hatred I felt for women, I projected it on her.
Okay.
Like a very extreme, deep hatred.
Did that heal you?
No. So what healed me? Healing is not the right word during that phase. So I call that my demon phase, literally because I was haunted by demons, and then I had nightmares. And I still remember this to this day, right? Like, I mean, I would have like sleep paralysis or just nightmares and shit. But I remember it to this day, this dream or nightmare. I was getting off the train late at night. And, I'm coming downstairs, it's like Corona, Queens. And it was like 2 a.m., extremely foggy, right? And I'm walking down to my house. I'm walking to my house. It's like a 15-minute walk down the path I usually walk. But it's extremely dark and foggy. And on the street, I see this like huge train coming, right? And it's just coming very slowly. I hear the horns. I see the fog lights. And then I'm like, okay, I got to keep advancing, right? I'm like touching the walls and shit. And then I deviate from my path just to avoid this train, right? I deviate to my path, and the road that I'm on now is even darker. And the train finally passes. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I'm on this dark road, and I'm walking, and I'm like, nah, I can barely see shit. And I'm like just clutching the walls. And then suddenly I see some like 10-foot tall, bald, extremely skinny, lingering.
Slender Man.
Extremely like Slender Man, exactly. But like in like some kind of trench coat and some like weird mask that kind of opens and some like weird.
Red eyes?
No, it's just black eyes. And this creature just like hovered over me and then just
Oh.
crushed my heart and just picked me up face to face and then just squeezed my heart. And I just woke up in cold sweat at 4 a.m. like, and I was just like, after that, I was like, okay, I something has to change.
Yeah.
And then
Is this where this comes from?
no, not yet. 2 days later, I was on Facebook, and I read I come across some like post, an excerpt from Bill Clinton's book, and it was about Nelson Mandela.
Oh.
And so it was about Nelson Mandela, how he had just gotten out of prison after like being 27 years in South Africa. And he was invited by his jailers to come do a speech, right? And Bill Clinton was like, to Nelson Mandela, like, how could you accept this proposition? Like, aren't you the least bit angry? Like these people jailed you for all this time, and now they just want to
Make you
like,
dance for
now
their
like,
joy
you're
and
there,
entertainment.
yeah, just come here like it's nothing. Like aren't you angry? And Mandela, he was like, yes, I was very angry and I was afraid as well. But I also realized that if I held on to that anger, then they would still have me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be free,
Right.
so I decided to let it go.
Right.
And I was like, wow. So that very day, I was like, I held on to this deep hatred for this woman. And that hatred was my mask. That hatred is empowering. That hatred
Was a shield.
Was my allure to women, right? I ripped that mask off and I reached out to that girl and I wrote her an apology letter. Just like with no expectations or whatever. Just I had to like get this off my chest. And when I did that, it's like I peeled off that layer of hatred and revealed this wounded 5-year-old boy inside. This vulnerable 5-year-old boy. And that was like the first step of the healing process.
Okay. So did that put you in a position now where you're like saying, I'm healing now, I want to find a really good woman and be good to her because now I feel like it's something that I'm ready for or I'm open to. Did you have that type of reaction and saying, hey, I'm healing and now I would like to be better to like and be a better partner?
No.
Okay.
No.
Have you reached that part yet?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Just
After
for everyone.
many years, yes. But back then, no. Back then, I didn't know what self-development was to that level, This was just me doing shit, trying to figure it out, figure myself out. It's funny because saying a lot of shit today. So I was a lifeguard around that time, and she knew where I worked at the time. I had already sent this letter, and this was like summer, and I was working as a public lifeguard in Lower East Side. She knew where I worked, and one day I'm working as a lifeguard one day, and I'm just chilling, doing my job on post, watching all this shit, And then
Another lifetime,
yeah.
FYI.
Suddenly, I see some girl across the other side of the pool just keeps looking at me. She had twins, by the way, twins who happened to look like me.
She had twin children.
Yeah.
Birthed them.
Yes.
Okay. So the dude she was messing with looked like you?
Yeah, somewhat.
She had a type.
She got us hype.
Whatever. So I see this girl from across the pool. I'm like, wow, that girl looks kind of like my ex. I'm like, and she keeps looking at me with those piercing eyes. I'm like, that girl really looks like my ex.
Is this the chick in the acting photo?
No.
Okay.
And then I'm like, holy shit, that is my ex. And as soon as I realized that was my ex, that wounded 5-year-old boy came out. I just froze. I can only describe it as you ever had an open wound and a cold breeze blows on it?
I love that feeling.
Well, you're weird. You're strange.
I'm alive.
Yikes.
I mean, it's just, teach their own.
But I felt like that. My entire soul was
You felt exposed.
vulnerable, exposed.
Yeah.
And I was like, and my boy, he was like, yo, Cesar, that's your ex, right? Go talk to her. And I was just like, no, bro, I can't talk to her. I can't talk to her right now.
He's Batman.
Yo, I can't. And he's like, yo, bro, you sound like a little bitch right now. I'm like, yo, I know. I can't.
See, a lot of peer pressure
and
comes with these friends.
And I was like, yo.
Peer pressure exists. He was in his 20s, of course.
No, I was like, yo, you need to cover my post, bro. I need to go back in. He's like, really, Cesar? Nah, I need to go back in. I was like, And then she left.
Okay, so that still didn't explain to me the next person you fell in love with.
Next person I fell in love with.
But hold on, do you think a lot of men are afraid of women? They have this visceral reaction of fear based on their vulnerability, so they clam up and hide, or they avoid?
I think a lot of people underestimate the impact of childhood experiences. Especially for men, because it's not normalized for men to be in touch with their feminine sides, for men to, get in touch with their emotions. It's not empowering for men. And it comes with a lot of downsides in the short term. Because women, for the most part, aren't attracted to that kind of stuff. It's hard to be vulnerable with most women because they tend to view that as weak. So men tend to clam up and keep it to
think
themselves.
that there's truth to what you're saying, but I do believe that things are getting a bit better, I think. You know what I mean? I think that it is becoming something that women are becoming more conscious of the fact that men have feelings too. We have a tendency sometimes of acting as if men are immune to having their feelings hurt. And I think that I can even admit to that. I think now that I'm more mature and that I've been through more and I've genuinely loved my partners, I've learned how to be a bit more empathetic to their struggles and what they've gone through. Yet when I was younger, I had this
Shut up a buck up thing?
I was raised in a machismo society because I'm Latina. I grew up in New York. Men in New York are usually very manly. I don't want to categorize and whatever, but it's more common, right? Because it's a very survival environment. So it's kind of like I was just conditioned to believe that men were just stronger than I was, that they can handle more than I could. So I was a little more vicious with the response or less considerate or just like, maybe he made this huge effort and I'm complaining that you missed a detail.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like those type of things, now that I'm older, I understand crush men. Because they're like, you know what it took for me to get here? You know what I'm saying? And you're complaining I'm late? So it's kind of like, I agree with you. And I think that there was a very long period of time where men were not given the right platform to feel like they can just be human. At the end of the day, it has nothing to do with masculinity, it has nothing to do with femininity. It's just human. Like a person should be allowed to have an emotional experience and to cry and to say that hurt my feelings. However, not every woman, but at least a woman like me, I don't want to be with anyone that's always crumbling to pieces when something goes wrong.
Girl,
you see what I'm saying?
What you said.
Nobody wants a man that's like, a person like that. I'm pretty sure it's probably, you can speak to that. I'm pretty sure it's difficult to be with a woman that's an emotional wreck.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, get it together. You know what I mean? So I agree. And I think that I'm happy that you're being vulnerable and you're speaking like this because I hope this encourages even other men that are having a challenge with admitting like, listen, I needed that support and I didn't get that support. And that in turn caused a negative outcome for the women that I was with because I never felt like I can truly be vulnerable. You see what I'm saying? But you were right. And it makes sense. Okay. So now about that second girl you fell in love with.
Come on, some love. Give us some romance tale. Real love, Cesar. Not a brief encounter.
But that's not love.
Men are different.
It's not love. It takes a lot for the brain to feel love.
Real love.
Love. I think what most people call as love is really lust.
Yeah.
I think that true love is unconditional. You should be able to truly wish the best for a person, even if they choose you or they don't choose you. You know, like that's true love. Like I want you to be happy, even if I'm not the partner that's best for you. Like I want you to be happy. That's true love. It took me a long time to get to that level. I definitely met many women who I loved, was in love with. But it was really lust.
Okay.
And what do you think define that lust versus love in your feelings? Like, how did you realize, like, oh, this isn't really love. I'm just lusting after this woman. It's just a fleeting encounter.
That came much later, after I had, I guess, what you would call a spiritual awakening. Yeah, that came much later after I started to explore myself on a spiritual level, educate myself on attachment and just focusing on what's really important to me and just all the bullshit. Like, so many people do things because of external validation or image or like, oh, I want to do X, Y, and Z and then I'll be successful. That's a load of shit. Like, you need to feel successful right here, right now. This present moment is all that is. Everything else is bullshit. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Tomorrow is never going to come because when tomorrow comes, tomorrow still hasn't come. You know? So once I got to a level where it's like, okay, I need to love and accept myself and all of myself, you know, then I was able to truly love somebody. It doesn't mean I wasn't still susceptible to bullshit, you know. But yes, I did fall, or I did love somebody to the same level that I loved cop.
Fair.
Did you get that quote I sent you the other day?
What?
The quote.
Yes, I did. I got the quotes. But we're not talking about that story right now. Not on this
But
episode.
to love someone long term is to love, what is it? Them 10,000 times, 10,000 of their funerals, something like that. I have to look at it. But we recreate ourselves infinitely, and to love someone is to just continuously love them through their evolution infinitely.
I mean, yeah, because it's like it's really silly. You know, a big reason why I started this podcast is because I don't think people really know about relationships and how to relate to each other in a real vulnerable way that's like when you're being actually true to yourself, right? You can be true to another person to a level, up to a level, but how pure are you being with that person if you're not being pure with yourself? You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of people get into relationships, and it's like they put up these facades because I want to make you love me, so I'm gonna put up my best resume, my best self, blah blah blah, right? That doesn't work out because after a year, 2 years, whatever,
It's a sham.
the facade is a sham. It goes away, it goes out the window, and then you're like, who did I really fall in love with?
Satan.
And people get into relationships, but it's really just like a possessiveness. Like it's like I have you.
You are my object.
You're my object of desire, and I have you.
No one else can have you.
But that's bullshit too. That is not love
that
because
is
that
bullshit.
fades away. Okay, and the very nature of possessing something, once you have it, you feel like you know it, right? You feel like it's not gonna grow. It's not gonna surprise you anymore. You're gonna take it for granted. Just by that very mentality, you're going to take it for granted. But it's all bullshit because it's your own mindset. Because if you're really with somebody who is growing every day, that person can always surprise you every day.
But are people really growing every day? I hate
Yeah,
shit like that.
Okay, I mean,
You know what I
yes.
mean?
a
Like,
little
I feel
bit.
like, come on, bro.
taste.
Like, I just feel like sometimes all this fucking wake up every day and hustle and you everything and every day you grow.
Yeah,
I feel like that's not
exhausting.
real life.
But I'm not talking about hustle or 9 to 5 or whatever kind of. I'm talking about, experiences. Like
But some-
today, I'm gonna try something different.
But every day you're not gonna try something
Okay,
different.
but maybe once a week.
I
You know,
feel
like,
like-
like once a
Just
week.
a small
or something.
shift
I
in your
understand.
thinking,
Yeah,
or your
but what I'm
outlook.
saying is like now, okay, the reason I'm saying that is because now I'm looking at it like you have an impossible ask. Like I'm not saying that this is exactly what you're doing, but as a spectator in your story, it's like I'm not surprised that you haven't really been head over heels with someone. You see what I'm saying? Like everything you're saying to me is like you're setting yourself up for failure based not
Love you.
what I'm saying is like not to say that you shouldn't have those standards and we should all want what we want, but it's like you can't put that on someone else. What I've learned with age is that you can't put shit on other people that you believe to be the right life and the right lifestyle. Like there's people that don't believe that they need to do something new every single week.
It's not it's not the idea of like doing something new every single week, but it's more of a self growth kind of thing.
Okay.
Right? Because like let's be honest, you could be Michael Jordan and you could be dating Michael Jordan, right? Whatever.
Shit
But it's
from what I
like
heard.
if Michael Jordan doesn't choose to grow and get better
He didn't because he's still
at
gambling.
something, right? If Michael Jordan wasn't the type of individual who would explore golf or explore baseball, right?
Just
I mean, he
gambling.
wouldn't be Michael Jordan. He's you know what I mean? It's like, and that's what makes him interesting. It's like this person who is just, I want to push myself, and that's kind of like how you were talking about. You want a partner that has a zest for life. That is a zest for life. And that doesn't change. That's a quality thing. It doesn't
Yeah, it
change
is a quality.
at 50, 60, 70, 80. And it could be in the very littlest way. You could be a 70-year-old
I saw a
play chess.
74-year-old stripper yesterday
You know?
on Instagram. So yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
she was good.
I know. I actually know 70-year-old women who are like chess grandmasters who would go to Union Square.
Oh, I love that.
Right, and like they would out hustle the hustlers.
I love that.
You know
I
what
watch it on
It's
YouTube.
It's that kind of shit. Like
I
just
understand, but those are interests, those are hobbies, those are desires, those are things that peak. Those are things
He
that
wants,
give
like,
you.
a partner who lacks a bit of
It's not the
fear.
peak. It's the quality of like I don't mind making myself look like a fool to learn a new task.
Yeah, like a little bit of
And I love that. And I think
selflessness.
that's great. And I think that it's a beautiful thing to desire. And I'm just being a devil's advocate as well at the end of the day, because it's like, the reason I'm saying that, I'm sure there's quality women that are excellent candidates that are going to be nurturing, that are going to be solid for you, that are going to treat you the way that a man deserves to be treated, that is a good man. There's women that exist that do that. But she may not necessarily be as adventurous as the girl that's going to treat you like shit. Because you have to give a bit. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things you got to sacrifice. A solid woman that is going to be giving you all of these qualities that are really wife material things, let's say, for instance, whatever that category may be for you, she's going to lack in other ways as well. Mm-hmm. She's not going to necessarily be the jack of all trades that every day wants to pick up a new skill and that next year she wants to elevate and then in the year after that, because that person is probably flighty and they're really bad at commitments. So it's like you have to.
I really don't mean it in the way I think you're.
No, but I'm saying I'm being a devil's advocate. I'm being very extreme with the example. The reason I'm saying that, not because I don't want you to be with the woman that's fucking Jane Eyre. It's just the fact that you also have to kind of be realistic in certain aspects. It's like I don't think, like, some people have different things that move them. Like, what if this woman just really wants to be a thespian and like really read books from all over the world? She's not gonna necessarily be like, yo, this week I'm a take up archery.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
I think you're because that in itself is a quality of something new, right? Like the she's reading a new book or whatever. Like she's expanding in some way. Like she's not being stagnant.
She's curious.
Nobody wants somebody stagnant.
I agree with
man
that.
or a woman.
I agree with that.
Nobody wants that shit.
Right. There has to be
Right?
evolution of some kind.
Evolution, exactly. Evolution of whatever sort, whatever it means to you, as long as you are evolving in some manner. Have your own interests. You know, have your own life outside of me. You know, most people, they have codependent relationships. I think, it's not about that. I don't want a codependent relationship. I want an interdependent relationship.
Do you want a wife though?
Yes, I do.
But like, what do you really want? Like a wife, like
What
a
does wife
traditional
mean
wife?
to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Outline what you see as a wife in Cesar's life.
A life partner.
Do you want kids?
We need that to be
Like
described.
I'm trying to understand the nuclear
let's
family.
not just glaze
Well, no,
over
but
the
I want
fact
to
that
go
he said
back.
life
Like, do
partner.
you
That
want the
wasn't an
nuclear
answer.
family? Like, was the qualities he's saying to have kids too? There has to be like a point in life. I'm trying to understand the big picture and then dive to the detail.
So I need somebody who, everybody needs somebody who they're kind of on the same wavelength, right? I'm the type of person that if I meet my future life partner, I'm an individual who's like, if we're gonna settle down, we need to get shit out of our system. Let's be adventurous. Let's travel the world. Let's travel the world 6 months or a year or whatever we can manage. But let's be adventurous.
But why does that have to be out your system?
Before you got the
it's
kids.
it's just who I am. Like everybody.
I know, but why can't that be what your life is like with your partner? If that's what you
Well,
like.
no, but you gotta
With the kids, I assume
like
it's
with
more
kids,
difficult.
it's like I've traveled with people with kids. It's not the same.
Woo, honey, yeah,
It is
you
not
need
the
a
same,
nanny.
Okay,
But anyway.
like for me, instead of a whole big fancy wedding and all this bullshit, like I'm a very simple person. Like let's travel the world. Let's explore. Let's get lost. Right? Let's experience new shit. Let's fucking, take a dart and throw it to a map of the United States, and wherever it lands, that's
Not
where we're
the
going.
United States.
Well, whatever.
Yes, guys,
preferably Europe.
we need to visit our country. Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, it's
this is
cute.
our country at
I've
the end
been
of the
there.
day.
It's cute.
Come on, man.
But
He went to a
You know how many
KFC
people
in
wanna come
Kentucky.
here?
You know
I
what
went to
I mean?
KFC in Kentucky.
You know how many people want to come here? Y'all be bugging, bro. This is 50 states.
Montana's cute, but
There's
you
a
know,
lot
you
going
get
on.
kidnapped there.
Listen,
You know?
Wyoming's beautiful.
Come on,
Yeah,
that's
but
what I'm
they're doing
saying.
too much. The wide open spaces, honey. They be having bombs planted in the backyard and shit. There's a lot going on. These weird wide open. Anyway,
I mean, well, whatever.
I digress.
I don't know. I'm a patriot. Yes, visit
Okay,
America.
yeah, Alex Jones, Alexa Jones, honey.
I gotta be Alex Jones because I like my country.
Patriots!
Jeez Louise. I'm okay with my blue passport. Y'all can sit here with all your other colorful passports. I have no problem with my blue passport.
I'm just playing.
But
It
go
was
ahead.
just perfect timing.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, what's a wife, Cesar? Come on.
A
Besides
life,
a dart.
a life partner. Somebody who definitely compliments me, right? In my where I'm weakened, right? I wouldn't call myself an introvert. I'm more reserved. I'm kind of introvert extrovert, but I prefer to be reserved. I think a woman or my future partner will kind of maybe be the opposite, maybe be more friendly and stuff, or more extroverted, so to speak. Um, Obviously, I do. Every man wants purity.
Oh, Lord. A fucking purity ball tonight.
I don't know what that means.
I know. I just instantly went to the Church of Latter-day Saints, honey.
What does purity mean?
So, I think purity means a lot of things to different
What does it mean
men.
to you?
Purity to me means self-control, right? Like
Interesting.
I don't care.
A good puss.
I don't. A lot of men care about body count and all this bullshit. I care about emotional maturity. To a lot of men, especially in this like red pill community and all this shit, I need to no more than 5 bodies and all this crap.
Oh, it's so naive.
It's stupid. It's stupid shit because
She's
it's like
lying.
you can have a fucking version.
naive.
You can have a girl.
She's lying, by the way.
I mean,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, we love lying. Let's be real.
You can have a girl that's like only been with 3 guys, but she could be fucking immature as fuck. You don't want a woman who is emotionally immature.
You can't have a vixen and a virgin, honey. Let's just get that out
You
the
don't
way.
want a man who's emotionally immature.
Yeah.
Emotional maturity in any is like the fucking top trait. Okay, to me, whatever you had to do to get there, whatever.
So I guess I still don't know how that symbolizes purity. I guess that's why I'm having a hard time
So
understanding.
purity is you are able to be by yourself.
That's pure to
Here we
you.
go again.
Girl, can I?
Pure to you. That's interesting.
You are able to be
categorize
by
it.
yourself. You are able to not need, attention from men. You're able to go without sex, for a period of time. I would even say you're able to control yourself with porn.
We
So you
don't
think
watch it that much.
abstinence is a symbolism of strength, correct?
Yes, actually. I
Or
do.
is it religious training? Or a combination?
No, because I don't. Okay, as a person who has lived in extremes, all right, and this may be very controversial or whatever. Even if you've been an alcoholic or whatever your addiction is, I don't believe that completely abstaining from it is a pure sign of strength. Because if you can't be around that thing, then it still controls you. So I think that you should absolutely be able to be around that thing, that addiction, whatever it may be, and be okay with yourself.
Honey, you asking for Oprah.
So, I mean, I love this. So, is there a correlation with purity with a woman who's more selective with who she gives her body to, and she takes her time, and she's selective with who she has sex? Not that she's a prude, but she's just more selective with who she allows in her body. Is that something that you say is like a pure thing about a woman, and that's a quality that you would like in your partner?
Yes.
He loves this.
Okay, so if now you have this pure partner that is meeting these things, right, that stimulate you and say, hey, this is talking to Cesar, like the person that was the child that now found the partner that now feels, she's speaking to that human being, that comfort that you were missing as a younger man, and that now you knew what that looked like once you finally fell in love with a woman that you decided to harm, but you realized that it really just came down to the fact that you needed someone nurturing. She gives you that. She provides that to you. Now she's your wife. Now she's the woman that you want to consider as your partner. how do you combat your desire to be with other women when you find that person?
It's not a thing.
Okay.
You know, you said before, like, sometimes you gotta, like, there's give and take, you gotta be realistic and whatever. No, absolutely not. You know, the reason why I have high standards, right? I call it the 85% rule, whatever, for having a mate. Is because when I finally meet somebody that meet all those needs or those, my standards, I don't need to be with other women. I don't need shit from other women. Like that part of me that needed external validation, that needed to seduce women to feel like a man or whatever, that bullshit I killed that a long time ago. And if I'm so lucky to meet such a woman that I decide, because you gotta fucking understand, your job doesn't matter, how much money you make doesn't matter. Like, truthfully, and this goes for men and women, like, the partner that you choose in your life is the most important choice of your life. This is somebody you're sharing your energy with. This is somebody who influences you in your head day to day. So why not raise your fucking standards and realize, before I let somebody in, before I share myself energetically with somebody, who am I? First off, who am I? And I gotta make sure that everything I'm asking for in a partner, like I give.
Right.
I don't do that double standard bullshit. So yeah, it's like I should be so lucky to meet such a person. And think about it, like we live in a society that fucking the way we date is so stupid. Like we play all these stupid games. Like, oh, she texted me, I gotta wait as long as I gotta wait 5 minutes, or she took an hour to respond, I gotta wait an hour.
This is a learned behavior right?
Exactly.
It's from friends and societal bullshit.
It's very societal bullshit.
Nobody wants to seem extra.
But that's like when we're young, we're just like, yes, I love you, love me. It's so genuine.
You say when we're young, but that shit still carries on.
No, I know. It's
shit like that you were willing to be honest.
I know. Right? I miss that about people in the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's so stupid, right? The way people do these things. And just think about how dating, it already is hard in itself, right? Because if you meet somebody, right, there's chemistry. You need to have chemistry with this person. There's compatibility.
You can't fake those things.
You can't fake chemistry. You can't fake compatibility, like life values.
Yeah.
Do we actually want the same thing?
Yeah, that comes out later sometimes.
There's timing. Maybe you meet this person and the timing is just not right. Okay? Having these three things align is fucking hard.
It's rare.
It's rare.
It's rare.
So it's like
destiny is destiny, baby.
And on top of that, we want to add, oh, she took 2 hours to respond, I'm gonna take 3 hours.
And she got to be a 10. And she can't have a deep voice. And she has to be a good mother in the future.
Do men still think that way? That women have to be a 10 and this and the voice and the
Listen,
dressing?
man, this is society these days. It's like I'm done.
Now, we're talking about you, Cesar. Does she need to be a 10 out of 10 in your eyes?
I don't think that's even possible. I mean, are you that unrealistic that you think there's a possibility to have a 10?
I don't. I personally believe. I don't care what your rating is. I care that we're both 12s to each other.
Okay, I love that. That's nice. Okay.
Because I do think you do need some kind of rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
In love. And both sides.
Or it's like when you see your ex, and they might be attractive, but they don't look as beautiful as when they were with you.
You see him and it's like, look at this.
It's like different. It's like you see them more as a human, and you're like, oh, okay, you're attractive, but you're not
trash,
like.
But you look good.
You're not as it's not like that. They're not glowing like they did.
Yeah. Oh, I love the glow in the early days or in the times of synchronicity. Yeah. Anywho,
So how
Yes.
close have you been to meeting this woman? As an adult male now.
I haven't.
Not even close.
It's
not even close.
I haven't.
Okay. Do you think that you're looking intentionally or you are not looking intentionally?
Yeah, are you fluctuating?
Right now, I stopped looking and I'm more allowing. I'm in a space where should that energy be there, I welcome it. But I stopped looking altogether.
Okay. Are you still hopeful?
Of course.
So here's my question. Because you've been very open in saying that you haven't had the best experiences as a child and that you had abusive experiences with women, one of those women, were they your mom? Okay. So since that was your example of the one person that's supposed to love you unconditionally, and now when you find the woman, as we all have spoken on this podcast before, we do find people who represent our parental figures and they do have qualities that our parents possess. How are you working on overcoming that, of having that negative experience with your mom and not allowing that to trickle into the woman that's your partner?
That's already been overcome long ago. Because it's not my mom during those days. She's a human being going through her own shit. I understand her perspective. We don't need to go super in depth. I understand why she acted towards me the way she did during those days. And I forgive her for that. I love my mom. I have a great fucking relationship with her.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love to hear that.
Yeah, I have a great relationship.
That's a good full circle experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
He took her to Art Basel.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I took her to Art Basel.
You want to go with me? It's like,
I love people that hang out with their parents. I hang out with my parents all the time. I get it.
Well, this weekend is Dominican Mother's Day.
okay.
So,
My
yeah.
mom is coming in town tomorrow, actually. That's funny.
Oh.
But I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and those significant relationships did all remind me of a parental figure, yes.
Okay. So do you think now, because you love your mom in a more forgiving and compassionate way, you guys have a friendship now, do you think that it kind of coincides as to why you're open to like loving a woman and wholeheartedly being vulnerable to her?
I mean, it does coincide. It's not the reason. The reason is more my own self-development, I guess.
But since you want unconditional love, right? Is your love unconditional if you have all of these list items for your
Well, I believe
magical dream woman?
I believe in
Magical dream woman.
Magical puss.
magical dream woman. I believe in
Puss in Boots.
unconditional love, but conditional partnership. And that's what you need to ground things, right? I mean, just like, let's be realistic for a moment. If we're partners, if we're business partners, we're working on a project, you have a role.
You said jobs don't matter.
I mean, whatever. You have a role,
Okay.
right? You have a role, I have a role.
Play a role.
You have your responsibility. I have my responsibility. We got shit to do.
But sometimes people have moments of weakness in the evolution.
Okay, that's, yes.
Are you gonna love us still?
That's fine. That's fine. Sometimes you need to okay, some space, take a break, fine, and then, okay, come back, forgive, and let's just move on. Right?
But you were saying, I want to touch on the role thing, because now gender roles are not allowed. It's like curse words now.
I love a good gender role with some
now,
flex.
when you believe in roles, I think that since people that think like that, we sound like cavemen for some reason. I don't know why. You're not supposed to play
I
roles.
mean, it's a
but
natural
when you say roles,
feeling.
for people who might be a bit younger than we are, what does a role mean to you as far as partnership? Because I think sometimes where things get lost in translation when it comes to discussing roles is kind of like there's something wrong with a person being the leader sometimes and a person being submissive and the person being the one that's the head of the ship at this moment. And like, there can't be two captains.
Yeah, of course not.
You see what I'm saying? So
Captain,
it's like,
my
I think
captain.
that
Yeah.
I would like to have you expand on that because I feel like it's become something that apparently it's deemed as a negative thing to look at things like that.
Honey, I want to stay
Yeah.
at home.
No, you're right. There can't be two captains. There's only one captain.
But is that a trade?
No, look, like I said,
It's called union.
you want to meet somebody who compliments you, right? In my partnership, I mean, yeah, I think it does work better when the man is the leader. Is every relationship like that? No.
We
The
secretly
ones
leave.
that I see that are the most long lasting and healthy, it does work better when that kind of masculine and feminine dynamic where a woman can feel like she's a woman
Yeah.
and a man can feel like he's a man, right? So yes, in my partnership, yeah, I will be the leader, right? I will have final say, but it doesn't mean that I'm some like dismissive person, like, oh, your feelings don't matter. Like, no, we're gonna talk about shit, you know. Like I care about your opinion on things. I mean, like, what the fuck? If I didn't care,
A
why
lot of
am
men
I gonna
don't.
be with you? You know, like
A lot of
it.
men down
But
because we're objects.
true leadership is not dictatorship.
No.
True leadership is knowing how to execute and also protect and to help and to uplift. That's like leadership too. It's not just like, it's the 50s and bitch, where's my food and get your ass in the kitchen. Like that's not leadership. That's
Yeah.
dictatorship.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
That's
it's like
misogyny.
it doesn't mean that, like, for those ladies out there, it doesn't make you weak to be submissive to your partner. It doesn't make you a less powerful being because your partner is better at making certain decisions. You see what I'm saying? And I think that we need to start saying and championing things like that. And we need to support that because, like, that is what, in my opinion, not saying that I know all the facts, most relationships that I see that have had the most successful outcomes is because there's a clear understanding of what the person compliments you in, right? And at the end of the day, if we're taking it back to kings and queens and biblical shit, like, the woman is supposed to help the man be the best version of himself. And then in return, you're gonna get everything you've ever desired.
Yeah,
like
well,
that's
too
just the
bad
way.
we do all that
and like
and they don't
we're
hunt up the
trying to like
bargain
reinvent
sometimes.
the wheel here. You see what I'm saying? And it's like that doesn't make that makes like I mean especially I know my situation is very polarized because I grew up in a Latino home, but like women are extremely powerful in the household. Like in the household, it's like there's no question.
In the family,
Like the
overall,
woman is
in
the woman and she makes the
community.
decisions and she's
Yeah.
the one that makes it happen. She takes care of everybody and all this other stuff. But at the end of the
Matriarch.
day, your man is holding it down for you guys.
Yeah,
So it's like,
providing, protecting.
it's a very polarized experience. And I understand that that's something that was ingrained in me and I didn't have a choice in a sense. But I feel like the more you start to like just look at the past and look at things that work and see things that work, I feel like there's a science to that. You see what I'm saying? And I've been in situations where I have been the more masculine figure in the
I hate
relationship.
that. It's exhausting.
And we were never happy.
It's exhausting.
You see what I'm saying? Versus when he felt his most confident and he felt the most powerful and he felt the most manly, that was when our relationship was at its peak. And I think that we shouldn't try to make things so difficult and so hard. Like, you know how nice it is for like a guy to take care of you?
No,
I don't
actually.
and I don't want to.
But it is nice. And I'm not saying, and both of you fair points, right? But there's something really nice about that. Like, it's not about that he's gonna pay all your bills and that you're just a housewife and you're just cute at the house. I'm talking about a guy that truly just takes the time to say, my priority is my partner and I'm going to make sure that she is happy.
Yeah, I don't know what that feels like.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
we should reevaluate what we're deciding to do if that's what the situation is.
That's true.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
So, you know what? Point for Cesar, right?
Good job, Cesar.
All right. Well, thank you.
Awesome. So now,
Hail Cesar.
I want to get a little dicey now.
Okay.
So, one of the things
Dice it on up
I
now.
hate. Okay, I know we said that we weren't going to bring like our personal friendships and our personal conversations to the pod.
Okay.
However, one of the things that stood out to me the most when I first became your friend is that you were really cool with the idea of being in a poly relationship.
Oh, yeah, honey. Let's touch base on
You
that.
thought that there was something to that, in a sense. We had a conversation. I was like, oh, that's an interesting point. And I think that it's interesting to hear a person that has such a
Core traditional values.
such a beautiful way of looking at union to say things at the same time, or means once upon a time, that you understand a poly relationship.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Do you desire it still?
I am monogamous as a life partner. I'm purely monogamous. I could never commit to 2 women or 3 women, whatever the case may be. No, I could never commit to that.
But you could participate.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Was that a life thing?
I mean, what do you
I don't
think
want to
I
be
am?
derogatory, but that's kind of like
Well,
fuckboyish. It's like, yeah, I want multiple
I mean, shit.
Yeah, but
You
then
know
when
what
I
I'm
get
saying?
with you, girl, you better be out here being submissive.
What the fuck?
Pussy better be in the corner. I'm like, okay, big dog, like, excuse us.
I mean,
Which one is it, Cesar?
what the fuck? A guy can't
I gave you a
experiment.
hail Cesar, so which one is it?
I
What
can't
you want?
experiment.
Do you want to be in love or you want to experiment into your 50s? Like, make it make
no,
sense.
No. I want love. Like I said, I allow energy. The energy hasn't come yet. Okay, so you know.
It might have come and gone and you don't even know,
Hold on
honey.
a second. I'm sorry.
Clap. Clap. Just so you know where to edit it, I'm going to wave my arms. Okay. So you know, I don't know what to put it. Thank you. I'm dead.
You knocked?
Girl, what you knocking like a
Are you
mouse?
sure? Can you come back up? I'm so sorry.
Come on, house mouse. Knock on the door
I know
better.
it's like mad floors.
32. Obviously. But not obvious all the time.
Just knock on the door.
You're going to have to edit this shit out.
Later, right?
I'm gonna have to edit.
Because it was the AC. It was like, brrr, and I was like, God damn it. Walking people.
She's definitely in the building. There's no reception though.
Yep. I'm
So
dead.
you know what?
sorry.
Let's wait.
Let's finish this up soon because when she comes, we're,
Oh,
not,
yeah.
we're not gonna finish.
Oh, how long has it been? Oh, we clapped twice.
Yeah, we clapped twice. Wait, clap third time.
Where were we?
Did it clap enough?
Where were we?
Hail Caesar, polyamory, and then monogamy.
He said that he okay. Where we left off was when you was like, I'm not gonna say no to the 2 girls.
Yeah,
right?
what's
I mean,
going on with that?
shit,
Is
I
given
mean-
Playboy Mansion or is it given I love you and I'm a romantic?
I mean, shit. You know, like
That doesn't sound very romantic, but I don't think you made it seem like it was supposed to be a romantic statement.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, but like,
romantic
you know,
statement.
like, are you wanting to be monogamous? What stage of life are you in, Caesar? Or is it just what comes?
No.
has come.
No. I am definitely like as life partners. Yeah, life partner.
Ooh, it's about to get interesting in this.
We gonna see, honey, on this
Summer.
Caesar's Outlook. We have to come back
Well, I
season
don't know.
20 and
Whatever, you know.
see what-
But since your friends come in, the episode's almost over.
Honey, he said since my
I did
friends
wa-
come
I
in
did
and
wanna
the
share-
polyamory combo meal.
I mean, whatever. I did want to share a
How
little fun tidbit, fun little story. Red pill is
Sure they
red
know
pill
about
is kind of
you, too.
like when you realize women ain't shit.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that to be what you
Okay.
That's a bad red pill.
See, I
thing.
get this
That's-
confused. So
that's a
basically,
bad-
misogyny.
No, I mean, no, I mean-
that's a bad.
No, it's not
more like-
misogyny. If you don't think women ain't shit, that's for a
No,
reason. Why do you
not
think
women
that?
ain't shit, but more like, man, things aren't always what they seem. Okay, that's
Nobody told you to
that's
watch
a nice-
the man show in your youth.
So,
Okay.
okay, I was probably 19 years old, 19 or 20, or
And you became a red.
whatever.
That's when you was kicking bitches out the window.
Well,
was it?
shut up. All right, I was 19 or 20. And whatever, I'm chilling, me and my friends, at my friend's house, chilling with some girls,
Taking red pill.
having fun. And I was already messing around with some chick, right? And whatever.
I remember.
This chick starts, going down on me. Right? We're at my friend's house. So she starts going down on me. I'm chilling, enjoying myself.
Maxing
In
and
front of your
relaxing.
friends.
Right, yes, in front of my friends, right? Enjoying myself. And she gets a phone call, right? She's actively going down on me. She picks up the phone. Hello? Oh, hey baby, what's up? How you doing? Oh, I miss you. What are you up to? Oh, hi baby.
Oh, we ain't need the reenactment. We didn't need the
Nothing.
a little.
I'm just chilling. And I'm like,
That's when you learn about people, huh?
yeah. I was like, oh, okay then. Yeah. Oh, well.
So this happened at the ripe age of 19.
Yeah.
You're 19, you
And it
don't
was
care.
over for women since then. Like it was a wrap for life. That's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
Like,
You
oh,
see, like,
man, bitch.
Oh my God!
Listen.
Can you not call women names?
Nah, okay, I'm not. But like, men.
Yeah, see, he's doing fucking.
Men, when men lie, it's like, oh yeah, I didn't fuck her or whatever.
Y'all can't lie
But when
worth
women
shit.
lie, it's like it's not your baby, but it is.
Okay, you are being real trash right now. Like, okay,
We're not. That's a lot. But
That's
okay.
a lot. But that's like I'm talking about the extreme kind of cases.
So okay, do you think that you've ever? Do you think that men haven't been in positions where their girl is calling and then somebody's giving him head? Like I feel like shit like that happens.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Happens all the
constantly as
time.
well.
I mean,
But we're supposed to weather the storm,
yeah,
honey. Stormtrooper, bitch.
That's a red
Cook the
pill.
food
Is
still.
not. It's not gender.
So
it's
that,
like
that took away the illusion of women to you. That tainted the image of women for you at that
yeah,
time.
at that time.
Okay. So so do you think that like women are like more capable of being more vicious because of this?
Well, during that time.
But I'm like now.
Oh no. Now I don't deal with those kind of women.
How do you know?
How do you know? Yeah, you don't know.
I take my time. I
Yeah,
take
that
my
don't
time.
mean
But
shit.
women are definitely way better liars than men. Oh,
Yeah, we know.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, I can understand if I were in your shoes and someone did that in my presence, I would probably have a bit of a trust issue.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Men have done worse. Men have done worse.
I mean,
Yeah, but I don't know about no guy like eating me out and then like picking up the phone and talking to his girl. I feel like
hey,
that's wild.
I mean, you don't know.
I think it's a wild
they
thing.
aren't
I
as
mean,
bold.
look, it's a
Or
wild
they'll
thing.
actively lie in your face in the car.
it's a wild thing, but it's stuff to explore on the next episode.
Okay.
He's
Because
trying to end.
time is running out.
He's trying to wrap it
You
on
know?
up, girl.
Yes, time is actually running out on this podcasting.
He's running out of memory on
Yes, I'm running out of